Hi guys. This is episode 4. In this episode, I'm going to talk a little bit about lost fish, missed fish. It's hilarious how many people think they would have won the tournament if it wasn't for that one fish that got away or broke off. And maybe it's true that they would have won if they would have landed that 7 pounder that broke them off right at the boat at the end of the tournament or whatever. But if everybody landed every fish they hooked or even got the bite, you know, every tournament would be a completely different story. That's not what tournament fishing is about. It's about getting in the boat. But everybody seems to, it doesn't matter if it's the Elite Series or just a club tournament or a local open. Every tournament I fish, it seems like, at weigh-in, somebody or, usually the same people every single week are, oh, that we lost that 6 pounder right at the boat, broke us off, you know, and it's just funny because maybe they're telling the truth, but personally, I've never broken off a big fish right next to the boat ever, that I can remember my whole life, except for smallmouth on like a drop shot or something with like 6 pound test line. But for the most part, these are largemouth tournaments where there's no reason to ever break off a fish right next to the boat. The only way I've ever broken off a fish like that is either on the hook set or it's right after the hook set if they get wrapped around a log or a tree or something. But you should never break off a fish right by the boat, and definitely not every week, and it's just funny. Every single week somebody will they'll be fishing the tournament and you'll weigh in and they'll come in with 10 pounds or whatever and the winning weight is 16, and they'll be like, oh, we lost a 5 right next to the boat. It's like you wouldn't have won anyway, but every time it never fails. Somebody always loses a 5 or a 6, and that seems like it always breaks off right next to the boat. So are you using 4 pound test on spinning rods and horsing them in, and you don't have a net and you're trying to boat flip them? I mean, what are you doing? Use the right gear, and you won't have these fish break you off every single week. But that's just one of those things where I don't know, people try to make excuses or whatever. But the other thing, a lot of times, even when they don't hook them or don't get them out to the boat, especially like frog fishing, they'll get a blow up on a frog, and oh, that was definitely a 6 pounder because it was a huge blow up. You can't really tell when you're frog fishing. I frog fish more than probably 99% of people, at least around here. I have a frog rod, always tied on, and I throw it, at least 50% of the time in most tournaments. Right, I'm a pretty hardcore frogger, and honestly, you can't tell how big they are when they blow up. Even if I've had times where they jump completely out of the water and miss, and you see the fish and you swear it was a 6 pounder, and you get it close to the boat and you realize it's only a 2 or a 3. In that split second, even when you can see the fish, your eyes can deceive you. That's why in criminal investigations, eyewitness testimony is so. It's not even it's not very reliable, because when you see something for such a split second amount of time, your mind doesn't process it like that the right way. So, and a lot of times they won't even see it. They'll just see a huge blow up. I've caught shorts, that were 12 inches that made a huge blow up. That you swear, it was a 4 pounder and it's a 12 incher. Or the opposite, sometimes The 5-pounders will suck it in like nothing. I mean, your frog will just slowly disappear, and you think, well, that's just like a bluegill or something trying to pop on the legs of the frog. It's not even, it's just pulling it down, and it's a 5-pounder. So you never really know when you're frying. But it's funny hearing people's excuses. And you'll hear the same thing on the Elite Series and FLWs about, losing fish, and, those guys are a little bit more credible, but it's, if everybody landed every fish they hooked or even got to bite, everybody would have a better weight. It's the game's about getting the fish in the boat. It's not about how many you can get to bite. So that's just one of the funny things that we like to laugh about every week during tournament fishing. It's especially funny when you catch a check or something and somebody else is saying, "Oh, I would have beat you guys if I would have just landed that 6 that broke me off right at the boat." Whatever. But if you guys like our videos, go on Facebook, like our page, follow us on Twitter. That's where we got our start. Twitter at Bass Squad Corp. We have just tons of hilarious stuff on there. You could look at that for just hours, and it never gets old. We have just unlimited resources and unlimited amount of humor and material, because this is all we do. We just text each other back and forth all day for the last 5 years, just all this stuff, and we're finally getting it out there on the internet. So follow us on Twitter at Bass Squad Corp. Like our Facebook page, Bass Squad. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. There's plenty more YouTube videos coming out. So till next time, guys, have a good one.